Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. If we could have roll call, please, Mr. Snyder.
Mr. Finaro.
Here.
Ms. Grosek.
Here.
Mr. Hess.
Here.
Mr. Hughes.
Here.
And Mr. Tressi.
Here.
And this evening we have a special guest, Richard R.J. Prosson. If R.J. would come up and help us with the Pledge of Allegiance, we would very much appreciate it. And R.J., if you would stay up here after the pledge, please.
I pledge
allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stay.
Come on over here, RJ. Excuse me. We have a very special guest here this evening. This is R.J. Prosson. R.J., this is your fan club, so let's give R.J. a round of applause. R.J., we have all kinds of nice things to say about you this evening and have a proclamation even for you, but before we do that, there's something that Mrs. Tomaselli would like to say, okay, and lead us in. Mrs. Tomaselli.
Use the microphone, please.
I want to kiss you. Thanks. Good evening, everybody. Tonight's a very special night. It's center night. We're all proud to be here. But it's also another special night. It's our principal, Mrs. Rattino's birthday.
Yeah.
So we are going to sing happy birthday to Mrs. Rattino. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mrs. Rattino. Happy birthday to you.
All right. Nice job. All right, RJ, on to you now. So, RJ, you're a very, very special young man, and some of the things that I read in here are just really, you've accomplished so much for such a young person. And, man, you are looking good tonight with the bow tie. So let's get to it. The Mayfield City School District and the Mayfield Board of Education present this proclamation, that one over there, that one's nicer, to R.J. Prosson, Student of the Month from Center Elementary School. Whereas R.J. is a fifth grade student who is recognized by his teachers as a student who displays all the qualities of a Mayfield Wildcat. He's a global citizen who excels both personally and academically. Whereas RJ shows he cares about himself because he is conscientious about his schoolwork and displays critical thinking skills. His intuitive, thinks outside the box, and makes deep connections to academic content. I don't know if you know what that means, but that's really special, and that is going to serve you well as you move forward in your future. You're going to achieve great things. RJ can be counted on to participate during class discussion and ask questions that help to clarify information for all students in the class. And there's a lot more here, RJ. And whereas RJ shows he cares about others because he's a friend to everyone. RJ demonstrates his kind heart and empathy when he makes sure his classmates are included in the group work. His teachers say RJ will sit with anyone to help his classmates. Your mom is beaming over there right now, by the way. With anyone and to help his classmates to achieve their full abilities. RJ is a natural student of technology, something else that will serve you well. He is well known in class to be a resource and to help others with projects on their Chromebooks. He has an innate ability to know when a peer needs help and seamlessly will go to provide assistance. RJ is a role model to his classmates and younger students. And whereas RJ shows he cares about our community when he volunteers to help others, he's an active member of the Center volunteer crew, serving as a teacher helper in the mornings. RJ also volunteers in a third grade classroom during his recess to organize papers for students to take home. He is dependable and responsible. We want to make you a teacher, by the way. RJ can always be counted on for his willingness to step up when a teacher needs help with a special project. RJ is the student who has quiet leadership. When he is involved, the project and work are in good hands. So RJ, now be it resolved on behalf of all the members of the school community, RJ Prosen is named the Mayfield Board of Education Student of the Month for Center Elementary School on this day, January 23rd, 2019. Congratulations, RJ. You're an outstanding young man.
Congratulations.
Wait,
You have to step here.
Right?
We've got lots of pictures
You've got
and fun
pictures,
stuff to
you've
do.
got to shake some hands, your mom and dad are coming up, your grandma.
Back up.
Okay, let me just get RJ by himself.
You guys come on up.
Out of that, all right. You're able to get up, okay?
What's that?
You're able to get out of that, all right?
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever you want.
Yeah, we're going to do the
You got it? Okay.
Rams next.
Great.
Anybody else want to get a picture?
That's nice.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. RJ, shake everyone's hand over there.
RJ,
There you go.
Hold on.
congratulations, young man. Nice job.
Congratulations.
Oh, great job.
Nice
Great job. You
job.
should be so proud. You should be so proud. You're welcome.
Congratulations.
Hey, Lori.
Out of that, you.
Oh, just give each of us.
Congratulations.
Now to get back in nature.
Wait for a second. I just upset you.
Go ahead.
Turned your sign over. There we are.
Let's give another round of applause to RJ. Special guy. Special young guy, for sure. You know, January is Board Appreciation Month, and really every month in Mayfield ought to be Board Appreciation Month. And I know they're my boss, so I'm not just saying these things because I'm trying to get another contract. But they are a group of very, very special people, and I think we all know that. I think we all know that. Their dedication is incredible. So you see some of the things here that some of our students made and our teachers made to honor our board. We also have some other things for our board that are being passed out right now. Some letters, some cards, and a book. A book for each of them that we put together that I think really describes our board very, very well. So if you don't mind, it only takes a second because I'm more of a picture guy than a word guy. But I'll read this to you.
Thank you.
If you don't mind.
Good job.
Okay? It says, thank you for your wisdom, guidance, leadership, and support. And if you can kind of pull that book out and take a look at it, open it up, I'll take you through page by page. I think you're certainly worth the time tonight to honor you.
All right.
No, that's fine.
Okay, who tied the ribbons tight?
Oh, I'm sorry.
See, they're with books and their new furniture. I mean, it's just like a classroom, right?
No more
That's great. Thank you for your guidance, wisdom, leadership, and support. And by the way, this is from all of us in the district. Your leadership prepares students for success now and in the future. Without you, innovative, engaged, and relevant learning doesn't grow. Your agenda is truly about the kids. Thank you for providing multiple pathways to discovering passion and purpose. If you could actually see the pictures in this book, these are pictures of our students doing all the kinds of things that are expressed in words. You have guided the technology for our students, or you have provided the technology for our students to connect with and explore the world. Your trust and faith in people is extraordinary. You believe in growing professional capacity. You believe we can change the face of education by sharing the Mayfield way. You have been visionary in your support for facility renovations. You support learning spaces that match the modes of learning. You maintain traditions while reimagining for the future. The community believes and trusts in you. Your style of leadership encourages community partnerships. Your dedication preserves the many opportunities for kids. You are committed to children and their happiness. You embrace the strength of our diversity. Your heartfelt passion keeps the Mayfield spirit alive and well. Every student, every day. Our board is wonderful. Let's give them a round of applause. So we just all wanted to say thank you, for everything you do, for all these things that we put into words into this book, because you truly are special. You're a special board.
This is a treasure.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I will tell you, Dr. Kelly, thank you very much for all of your support of the board. And I would like to thank every administrator, staff person in the Mayfield family, as well as the entire community and all of the constituents, because without you, as George always reminds us, without all of you, we are nothing. So thank you for letting us serve on your behalf.
I'm just glad I could get back in the chair.
I believe we now have a presentation with Center Nation is here.
All right, good evening, everyone. Board of Education, Dr. Kelly, Mr. Snyder, thank you so much for having us here. I am Kate Rattino, a birthday girl, and president of Center, or president.
Same difference.
It works.
You're probably right.
That's my new title now.
He's making center
Okay.
great again.
Principal of Center.
Oh, boy. You're
And
not going to live that one down for many years. Yeah.
I can't thank you guys enough for having us here tonight. I want to start off by saying thank you to all of the Center team members who are here tonight. We have several staff members, parents, and students in the crowd. So would you please stand up for just a second if you're part of the Center family? Parents, students. Thank you so much. We are much stronger on a team than we are by ourselves. And when you think of all the people that just stood up, and that's not even all of them, it's amazing how strong we are and how strong we can be. And it's because of the unity that we have at Center. Tonight, I wanted to start off by just taking you through some history of Center. And just talking about the last few years and what we've been working on. Because every year we build, and every year I think we're getting stronger and stronger and stronger in our mission of helping students be the best they possibly can be. If you go back 4 years, that's when we developed our Center Cyclones logo right here. We care about ourselves, we care about others, and we care about our community. We focused very hard that year on individual and small group instruction and really kind of personalizing from the get-go. If you go back The second year, we talked really hard about social emotional support for our students, and we also celebrated growth. Those give us the foundations of helping students emotionally. One of the things we believe in at Center is if you feel good and if emotions are involved, you're going to remember whatever it is you're trying to learn. And hopefully that's how you feel tonight. Hopefully sitting the way you're sitting, where you're sitting, has put you in a good mood. And you're emotionally what we call in the green and ready to learn about what's going on at Center School. If you go back to last year, we really started working on converting our classrooms and using technology to help personalize instruction. This year, our focus is very similar. Our focus is on creating a learner-centered and innovative experience for our students. Neither one of those are new. Both of those are things that we've been working on for many years. But that is the focus of all of our professional development this year. Tonight, you'll see that our staff is wearing a t-shirt that says Team Center. And that goes back to everything I talked about at the beginning. We're so much stronger as a team. And so we do believe that all the members of our community are part of the team, the staff, the students, and the community members. Tonight, we're going to share with you quite a few things that we've been working on and quite a few different teams that are working on them. We're going to share with you a little bit about why you're sitting in the seats that you're sitting in because we're focused on personalized learning spaces at Center. We're going to share with you what our instructional leadership team has been working on this year. The instructional leadership team is a group of 8 staff members who are focused on preparing the professional development for our staff and also helping our staff members to look at student data and really help students reach their goals. We're going to talk about what we're doing new for social emotional support. We're going to talk about our library renovation project, which I know many of you have already seen. We have a unique experience in 3rd grade with team teaching, and our 2nd grade has transformed quite a bit due to some new technology. So this is what you have in store for you tonight, and I'm going to pass it off to Mrs. Schultz and Mrs. McVanus, who are going to talk about learning spaces.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for letting us show you some of the classrooms at Center, how they look, and that possibly coming in, maybe you were a little concerned or thinking, how's this going to work? But the goal is hopefully at the end for you to say, hey, I really like it. I'm learning and I feel comfortable in that. And I think that's really one of the goals with the flexible seating that we are doing at Center. Flexible seating encourages students to find their best spot to stay calm, focused, and productive. Students feel empowered by having some degree of choice in where they sit in the classroom. Flexible seating allows students to choose where they work and with whom, and it also allows them to change their location and positions as needed, and some move around more than others.
So children need to move. Flexible seating allows them to wobble, rock, bounce, lean, or stand, which increases oxygen flow to the brain, blood flow, and core strength. Giving them a variety of options has helped to increase student engagement and create a comfortable culture within our school. This evening, we have asked you to perhaps leave your comfort zone and try a new seating option.
I'm rocking it. I'm rocking it. Ask me in about 15 more minutes.
Our goal is for you to experience what we have witnessed in our classrooms, creating an environment that invites children to personalize his or her learning, and we hope you enjoy these changes and our presentation this evening.
All right, next up, we're going to have Mrs. Scampatilla. She's a member of our instructional leadership team, and she's going to share a little bit about the work of this team this year.
Hi, everyone. I'm part of the fourth grade team over at Center School. And I'm also lucky enough to be part of the ILT, which is our instructional leadership team this year. I think the best way to tell you about our instructional leadership team is to share with you an elevator speech we created a couple months ago at a PD day where all the ILTs got together and met. And it was an awesome experience, and I think it really helped us focus in on what we're all about. So I'm just going to share it with you very briefly. You are now entering Team Center, where, from the voice of Steve Jobs, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. Imagine walking into a bright, cheerful space where you are greeted with a warm hug, smile, and know you are walking into a learning environment that will embrace your individuality. We are the leaders of Team Center who have transformed the culture of our school for all learners. We have worked collaboratively with staff to personalize learning and to balance literacy and innovation while providing differentiation for all learners. One of our biggest accomplishments this year is personalizing learning for our teachers. Our PLCs have evolved into true self-guided learning communities where risks are taken and technology is embraced to meet the needs of all students. An example of our progress is the Center Cyclone Creation Station, a traditional library transformed into a creative space for students to explore and design. Come and visit to see our learner-centered and innovative vision in action. So one area I'd just like to highlight very quickly is our personalized PD time that we're doing this year. Of course, our focus every day in the classroom is to personalize learning for students. So we're giving the staff the opportunity this year to personalize their own learning, where we're given time each month to focus on something that's going to best help our instructional practices. So we're given the opportunities to research things that can best help our students. Some of the things that we are working on are we're doing Lexia data analysis. We're going to work on, some teachers are working on how to best use Chromebooks and how to use Google in the classroom, morning meetings and team teaching and things like that. So we are lucky to have that experience ourselves of personalizing our learning. And I truly think what makes our ILT so successful is having great leadership and a wonderful staff over at Center that supports all the efforts that we're trying to put in place. So we do, as I mentioned in our speech, we hope you have the opportunity to stop by and visit us sometime. Thank you.
Okay, next up, we're going to tell you a little bit about what we've done new with social emotional support. So I'm going to call it Mr. Schiller, our assistant principal, and Mr. DiMarino, our counselor.
Vice President.
I was going to say Vice President. Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you again for having us and hosting us tonight. My name is Jeff Schiller. I am the assistant principal or vice president down at Center. We're just going to take a little bit of time to talk about a new program, and I do want to take just a second to thank Mr. Legan. He's in the back. He has actually let us utilize some of his staff to make this happen with Brian Lynn and Carrie Ritigliano. They have really spearheaded a collaborative process with us this year where we are using the Smile for Life members and the Max Scholars Club to come down on Wednesday mornings for about a half hour every week to come and mentor right now 12 kids. We took a little bit of break after the holiday. We're getting ready to kick off our second wave of that. We're actually expanding that to 14 students this time. And really the purpose of that is, we're transforming our classrooms, but we are a people business. And at the heart of it, we want to make sure that we're taking care and we're helping the students build those positive relationships. And with the help of Mr. DiMarino, Mrs. Ritigliano, and Mr. Lynn, and just all of the members of both of those clubs, we all realize the importance of giving the students those positive peer interactions and just giving them that time to talk to each other, play games. They've been doing different activities, learning leadership qualities, talking about different characteristics, kind of learning a little bit more about themselves, and actually just the journey. So you're seeing a high schooler up here. They've already been through all of this. So it's a really great addition to our program and our social emotional aspect of what we do for our kids there. And we're just about ready to kick off phase 2. We're going to really expand this program. But I'll hand it over to Mr. DiMarino to explain phase 2.
Thank you, Mr. Schiller. So as Mr. Schiller just shared with all of you, in a couple weeks we're going to be starting up kind of a spring session of the mentoring program, and something that kind of spun off of that idea was something that we call Adopt a Center Cyclone. And this was put together by myself and Mr. Myers, our gym teacher, and we reached out to staff at Center to see what staff members would like the opportunity to adopt a student or two within the building. And the way it's going to work is that we have probably about 16 to 18 staff members who volunteered their time throughout the week to be able to connect with a student within the building. And really what the staff members are going to do is they're going to help the students come up with goals, whether it's academic, social, emotional, behavioral, and really be able to kind of connect with not just the students, but with the teachers as well as with the parents. And just to give those students the opportunity to work with an adult, someone who's different within the building, to work towards some of those goals. So it's a fun opportunity that we're certainly looking forward to doing. And with everything that we've been able to do through the Wildcat Cyclone Connection as well as this Adopt a Cyclone program, is we've been able to really identify and support close to 50, 60 students within our building who do need that additional support. So it just speaks to the great leadership at the high school with those seniors and those juniors, as well as to the leadership and the ability for our members to volunteer at Center and our staff members just to help those students. So it's something we're really excited. It's the first time we're doing it, so we'll see how it goes, but we really are excited to get it up and running here in a couple weeks. So thank you.
Okay, next up is a project that we are extremely proud of. It's gotten quite a bit of press lately. If you read last week's News Herald, it was in there. Our Cyclone Creation Station. And I know Miss Cayone was going to help us out. And Mrs. Tomaselli, are you coming? Mrs. Tomaselli?
See, we made you cry last year. We're going to make you laugh this year.
Hello, everyone. My name's Laura Cayone, and I'm a second grade teacher at Center. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Creation Station before you hear from Mrs. Tomaselli about all the fun, creative things that the kids have been making. So I was part of the team that helped transform the library into a Creation Station. And so kids still go to library, they still exchange books, and they take them home, but after they're exchanging books, now they go to different stations. So there's 6 stations, and those stations focus on various skills, including literacy, science, engineering, art, and even a kindness corner. So for the entire time that they're at library each week, they focus on one center, and they are able to use task cards that we put at each center, or they can be as creative as they would like and use their own innovative thinking to create something unique for themselves. And we really wanted to create a safe place for the kids to use student choice and their own independent thinking. And what's nice too is we allowed only 5th and 4th graders to start using the space, and then we got their feedback of things that they liked or things that they wanted added. And then we did those, we heard from them and even from the staff members, and then now 2nd and 3rd graders are going, and then eventually 1st graders and kindergartners are as well. And now Mrs. Tomaselli will show you some of those creations.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm going to need my glasses.
Nice, indeed.
What I do without a Creation Station. Okay, thank you. Back to the drawing board, girls, now. Okay, good job. Got it? Yeah. All right. Okay, so.
Microphone. Sorry.
Sorry, you know, I'm just. So, what does foil and paper and duct tape and other junk have in common? Well, if you're a Center School student, you know that the Creation Station has all of that and even more. And even though I use the word junk, we really have a lot of cool things there. Do we have the next slide? Yeah. Okay. you can see things that they've made, the students have made, duct tape, shoes, Lego creations, aluminum foil creations. We have a motorized car. The kindness station is awesome. I want to share with you, let's see, do we have it? No, we don't. Someone had made this and they said, every day tell yourself that you're awesome. And that really promotes the kindness. And I think it promotes the message at Center School too. We have our reading center and we also have our construction engineering center. The neatest thing about the Creation Station is that everybody experiences success. There's no right or wrong way to do anything. It's an effort of collaboration and yet also independency. It promotes problem solving and it also promotes pride. What we want the students to feel with these stations is that you can do anything you want by using your mind, by using your thinking power. And that's exactly what they do. Each station inspires the imagination, just like Thomas Edison said. It inspires imagination with all ages, all ability levels, all interests, and you know what? It does it all the time for the students. So we're very proud of what we have at Center with the Creation Stations. Now, I know you're enjoying my outfit, right? Okay, well, the fourth graders, I challenged them today, because today was their day to go to Creation Station, and I said, make me something that I could wear tonight. And so I have some of the students right now who did exactly that. And I have to tell you, it was done in an amazing time, and they just all collaborated, got together, and worked their magic. And speaking about magic, we thought that the school board would need some bling for the green tie gala. And so then I gave them another challenge, and I said, make the school board something that will really get them to stand out at the green tie gala. And so Sophia and Anna and Courtney, do you want to come up and do you want to pass out our creations or your creations?
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
So the board is getting bow ties.
Thank you.
And Mrs. Grozick, you get your own hat.
Perfect. Perfect.
You guys all look awesome. And you know, they were very ingenious. There is a paper clip that should attach so you could wear it.
Now all I have to do is find the matching dress.
Yeah. Oh, we could do that tomorrow.
Make one, please.
You make it, I'll wear it.
During science, we could do that. Well, gentlemen and madam, you look marvelous. And thank you very much for this opportunity to share our Creation Station with you.
Ms. Tomaselli, I'm a little disappointed that you didn't wear your red shoes that they made for you.
You know what? I
Or-
was going to. I had the one.
Well, yeah.
I put it in my purse at home, and I left it there. But you know what? I'm going to get them to make me another.
Hey, you need two.
You need two. There are the ruby slippers.
All right, next up we have two of our third grade teachers who are taking team teaching to a whole new level this year. So here's Mrs. Patinsky and Mrs. Risk.
How did we arrive at a co-taught third grade class? Last year, we attended some training with Carrie Heath, and we read a book called Teaching Gifted Kids in Today's Classroom. And the book challenged us by asking, how are we really meeting the needs of our gifted third graders? And should they sit through something that they already know if our goal is to stretch them?
thinking about that, we knew that there was more that we could do to meet their needs. But the question was, how? At the same time, we knew we still needed to meet the needs of our striving learners. And of course, let's not forget the ones in the middle. So again, the question for us was, how could we better personalize learning to meet the needs of all the third graders?
So why? Why have a co-taught class? We were trying to pretest our students to see their knowledge prior to teaching a unit, but honestly, we were inconsistent. We were sending kids back and forth between all third grade classrooms, but between timing constraints and scheduling conflicts, it made it difficult to share students and meet consistently with them. After researching co-taught classrooms, we learned most models consist of a regular ed teacher and an intervention specialist or gifted teacher teaching one class, but that model didn't fit our needs either. So we talked with a couple of teachers, such as Lisa Jenkins, that previously co-taught regular education classrooms, and the teachers we spoke with were very positive about their co-teaching experiences. Since our third grade team has taught together for many years, we knew each other's strengths, weaknesses, and teaching philosophies. Because of this, we believed we could successfully co-teach, which could make learning even better for our third grade students. So we decided to go for it since we had the support of our administration. Something else that was very helpful was Mrs. Rattino arranged for us to observe a co-taught third grade classroom in Menor. These teachers had been using this model for about 5 years. We've been able to incorporate many ideas from their classroom.
What does our co-taught classroom look like? First and foremost, we established the culture that we are one class with 2 teachers. We both teach all of the students. And honestly, we would be hard-pressed to tell you which student is in which teacher's homeroom. They're just all ours. Throughout the day, we are both teaching and using different models such as team teaching, parallel teaching, small groups, and individual conferencing. Most of all, just like every teacher in Mayfield, we're trying our best to personalize learning for every student every day. We are consistently pre-testing this year in several subjects, where in the past, it was very sporadic. All of our third graders are offered the opportunity to take pre-tests, and those that pre-test out are given enrichment work during lessons. For example, during word work, we team up with the other third grade class. Mrs. Patinsky introduces and models the enrichment work with all of the students that pre-tested out. Once those students are working independently, Ms. Humphreys, Mrs. Patinsky, and I then split the remaining students into groups and teach them the word work lessons. Because this co-teaching experience is new for us, we are learning as we go. And one of the things that we did was survey our students to learn what they liked about their co-taught classroom and what ideas they had to make it better. Based on their feedback, we have made changes. One change we made is to our language workshop. We went from specific 15-minute rotations to a ticket system, which allows the students to work at their own pace during language workshop. Another change that we made based on student feedback is to offer most difficult first problems in math. And the students do those problems first. If they get them all correct, then they do not have to do the other problems in their problem set. This cuts down on some of their work, but ensures they still know the material.
Now we'd like you to hear from a few of our students about what their thoughts are on our room.
I like third grade a lot. It is challenging, but my teachers are good. I like that we read a lot and do a lot of fun stuff.
I like all the different groups that we get to do. All the groups gives people a chance to do what they need to do.
We'll see it. Every day you can switch where you work. My favorite seat is the stand-in desk because I like to stand more than sit and I concentrate well.
I like learning about the Titanic and fractions. All the singing choices are fun too. I like to work at a alone desk because I work better when I'm by myself.
I like math the most You can pre-test out of the lessons. I like that because I got to work on designing a zoo to learn about Irene P.
It's super fun, and with 2 classes, you can make lots of friends.
I like third grade a lot.
Okay, so in addition to student feedback, parents have shared several comments with us as well this year, and some of them are, there are many benefits which include having 2 teachers' perspectives and insight as to how my child is doing. The effort of 2 teachers has offered me as a parent a lot of support. More attention can be paid to the students when one teacher is teaching and the other can closely monitor. There's more differentiation in the classroom, and my child is working at his academic level as much of the time as possible. So in closing, we would like to thank our administration, Kate and Jeff and Dr. Kelly. I know Dr. Ward has been into our classroom as well. It is truly special to work in a school district that not only encourages innovative thinking for our students, but for the teachers as well. We are loving our co-teaching experience, and we're working to make learning more personalized for all of our third graders.
All right. Next up, I'd like to invite our second grade team, and they did bring you tech support this year from second grade. Come on up. They want to tell you a little bit about their transformation. Thank you for the Chromebooks.
All right, thank you so much. We're super excited to be here, and my name is Allison McClung, and I am just one of the teachers on the second grade team. Nikki Mikolasik, Laura Cayone, Carla Benvenuto, and we also have Lily McKee, and she is here from John Carroll. She's doing her student teaching with us, so we're all happy to be here tonight. So we would like to take you on what we call our technology journey. So a number of years ago, we were given 2 devices, and they were called Nooks. And these 2 Nooks lived in our classrooms, and we were super excited because those Nooks allowed our kids to read on a device. We had lots of books, but we had the 2 Nooks, and we were happy. We were really happy. Then, last year, we were gifted 30 tablets. Those 30 tablets were shared among 4 second grade classrooms, and oh my, the things that we did with tablets. And we were really happy with our tablets. Then Chromebooks came, and this time we had 15 Chromebooks per classroom, and that was awesome. The only problem that came with the Chromebooks is nobody really knew how to use them, including us. And so the kids came in, and they had to log in, but it was logging in a different way. And who had the idea to make the password start with a capital W? We don't know how to do a shift in second grade at the beginning of the year. So it was a little crazy. There were tears every day. And sometimes they were from us, and sometimes they were from the kids too. But patience and perseverance won out. And we stuck with it. And we are so proud to say to you now, look where we are. Of course, Jennifer Hancock came in. She did a boot camp, got us all kind of up and running. We are hoping to kind of hone our skills and kind of see how far we can go. I can tell you the difference from those first few weeks of blood, sweat, and tears. It has now been an absolute joy. Wait till you see what our second graders can do with Chromebooks now.
Now, Google Classroom is something new with the Google Chromebooks that we started using. And Google Classroom is just a central location where teachers post assignments and links that the kids can access. And so something in my classroom that we started doing were investigations. And this was really exciting for the kids, and it actually came from a student in the beginning of the year. One of my students had questions about the topic we were talking about, and he said, can we just have a lookup day where we can just look up things that we're interested in? And I thought, wow, that would be a really great idea. So we integrated it into Google Classroom with Google Slides. And so this is an example of one of the slides that they used to research. And so they had a question about magnets, and then they clicked on each of those links to read articles and videos and access lots of information. And then they created a slide where they recorded all of the research that they found. And so they had to put it in their own words. And they also learned how to insert pictures on Google Slides, which was very exciting for them. And so another way we used Google Slides and Google Classroom was with our performance task, our second quarter performance task about communication. And we were focusing on our essential question, how can we learn from the past? And so kids had to access links and do their research. And then they had to record what they found out using their Chromebook. And they wrote those sentences on their own, they inserted those pictures on their own, and then they had to present it to the class. And they were really excited to share what they found out. And what was really cool too is even though they were all researching the same topic, they still found out many different facts. And so they were each teaching each other different things that they learned and researched on the Chromebooks. And here's another example of one of their slides of how communication is in the present. And again, they wrote those sentences on their own. So we did come a long way from using Shift W to now writing sentences and inserting pictures.
Okay, so right now we're in the midst of learning around the world, and what a great opportunity to take the kids on an amazing race. I love that show on TV, so we created a unit where the kids get to travel to different continents, and as they're traveling, they're learning about the countries, and they're using science and math and technology all integrated into one, and they're learning so much in such a fun way. And if you came in during this time, the kids are all doing everything on their own. Like, we just kind of stand back and just watch them work and learn at the same time. So it's wonderful. So they have a game board, and they go to the different continents, and they're learning, again, research, art. They're learning through song and games. They have a Make It station where they learn about the Taj Mahal, the Sydney Opera House, and they're researching different animals. So they race around, and they complete the challenges and get a punch card. And so they have a lot of fun.
So now it's your turn. We have brought a few of the children with us here today from our second grade classes, and they're going to show you a little bit of what they've been doing with the Amazing Race. One of the things that we use with technology are the QR codes, and the kids have used QR scanners to be able to scan the QR code and learn, either watch a video, read an article, read a book from that QR code, and learn about what their specific, their task is for that day. So what they're going to do is, they're going to come on up, and you in the audience can also join in. If you have a cell phone, you could put it onto your picture mode, and you could scan these codes right here, and we have an African song for you that you can listen to through your QR code. We have the instructions on how to play Mancala, which is an African game, and learn about a little bit about African masks. These are just a sample of what the kids are doing here in second grade.
I don't think it'll let me do it.
How are you? How are you?
Kids now are showing the board members one of the activities that they have done in our Amazing Race.
You're going to show them something?
My name is Krista. I'll be taking on a picture.
Put that right there if you want.
No, you want to
Move this over.
Wyatt, nice to meet you, Wyatt.
So I'm Sue Gross. I
How are you?
Hello. The day is fine. And I get the fine opportunity of teaching during the day, too. In a different district. So what do you have here?
So what do we learn?
If I do something on my shoe,
Yes.
I still have a Star Trek. Got it?
Oh,
An old
you do?
flip phone, so I don't even think it does. Should I scan that with my phone? But I keep my wife around for with her newer phone. So I'm just letting you know ahead of time.
All right. She'll show you
Okay.
how to use
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
thank you. Here, I'll hold it a little bit for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
To learn about what we're doing.
So they built a castle.
Yeah.
Nice.
Here we have some
Awesome. Great building materials.
Some of this is
show you
over
about a
my
panda?
head,
Wow.
so you're way ahead of me.
Oh, that's awesome. So what'd you do? Did you print this on here?
Sure.
Did you do that, or is that just something he did for you? So you put it on there, and then you're able to get it? Oh, that's cool. Now, can I scan this with my phone and watch that?
There you go.
Oh, so I could do this and scan that.
And I can even scan it.
Keep in mind, board members, these children never picked up, if they did it at home, but in school, they used tablets last year. This is the first year they're using these Chromebooks, and they can work around these Chromebooks better than I know that I can.
Create a account.
Okay.
Mandala.
Oh, on this,
All right.
and there it is. So I could play it here.
Yeah.
So what are you making? That is awesome.
All right, I'm going to show you how to play Montana.
Oh yeah, I could hear it. Okay.
Oops.
That's awesome, man. You glow into it.
All right, I can stop this one. Well, that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can.
Some of the children are also showing the board members Epic, which is a website that the children go on that have different level books that they can listen to or read themselves that will also give them information of what they were doing.
Oh. So what is this? What does this mean? What is Seesaw? Is that a app? That's pretty cool. So you put it on there yourself? What do you put?
You're going to build one while we're
yourself?
watching.
Oh, you do? You can record
get
video?
that on my
And it's
phone?
called Seesaw.
I can get that on my phone.
Yes, it is fun. You're learning a lot, aren't you?
What did you put on there to scan that with?
What else do you
The camera? Let's see, put this on here.
There's a lot of
Put
different
that up
books on
there and
there.
let's see what happens.
Twin-towered gateways, in their own right.
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, I'm sorry. I did it backwards.
Were known as
That's
Oops, I'm sorry. Wait, let me turn this around so we can.
around the Great Hall, where the
Huh?
wealthy can entertain guests to lavish feasts. In the case of fortified manor houses, battlements were more for show than defense. Medieval castles were considered so
Oh, there you go.
prestigious that the style was revived by rich men who wanted to appear as powerful as the
Two
noble
people
legends
to
of
get
the
pictures of them now?
Let's see.
That's
Put
both
it
there,
up
huh?
there and let's see.
You can read about it?
Am I supposed to do something when that's up there? Take a picture of it or no?
All right, try something else.
So we're going to build a castle.
Oh, well, it didn't show me anything like that, so evidently I can't get it on my phone.
You're going to have to help me, but. So what is it?
But that's so, I'm telling you, that's amazing that you can do that and get that and.
Okay.
Where you at? Called Desking Ammo. Which? And how many?
So what was the name of?
So this was a sample of what the kids did during the Amazing Race. We've got one more week of it. They're going to travel to their last continent
Yeah.
and do their 5 last centers. I hope that you enjoyed looking at this. But one thing that the children get to do after they complete their task is one of my favorite things. And it's because, not only because of the teaching aspect, but now I'm putting my parent hat on.
Let me see that.
My daughter's here. She's in 2nd grade. And I do know what's going on in her classroom, but what I love about most is that after each of the kids do their activities, they get to log on to a website called Seesaw. And what Seesaw is an website kids could use the Chromebooks to actually videotape themselves.
Keep sound? Oh,
And
make a
tell,
keep
and it
sound.
sends right to the parent's
I didn't know
phone
that.
or their computer. It alerts them that their child has
At the
posted a
library
video,
from
and
your
it's only
school?
between the family
Oh,
At
they-
the
and the
library
child.
from your
And
school?
it tells the child, it tells the parents,
I like your drawing.
kids tell the parents
Nice job.
exactly what they did during that center.
They just live up
So
for 2 years.
during the day, my husband and I,
Animals are
or
different than us.
the other second grade parents, will get a notification on our phone that our daughter or your child has
There you
posted
go.
a video, and we get to see instantly exactly what they did or what they were learning about. I do have a sample of a few of the
Oh, I
videos
do. All right.
that I want to show you
We don't have too many.
that the kids have sent to their parents.
Yeah.
Here's just one example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you want?
Um,
Did you get it?
what?
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Let me hold that up. Is this what you made? Oh, okay. Here, let's do it here so we could see it. There you are.
That was not mine.
Is that you?
Yeah, it was me, but it was different. That was like Africa
Okay.
and other places. But I'm trying to find the one that I did in Kansas.
How can you tell? Does it have the name by it?
No.
No, you just gotta look and see if you can remember it. Give it a shot. Let's see. Yeah, this is the panda one, huh?
They belong to the
So parents are getting these videos and they're personalizing them. The kids are personalizing them. They're telling their families about what they learned, and then they do send little messages like this to their parents. I do have a parent here
cool.
that
Good job.
I would like.
Good job.
She wants to say a few words about how it feels to receive these videos. This is Mrs. Jones.
Hi, my name is Autumn Jones.
Wait just
My
one sec.
son's
Wait
in
just
Miss
one sec.
Benvenuto's
Here with
second
you.
grade class. And I just thank you for the opportunity to say how much we're enjoying the technology in the classroom and the Seesaw app. My son is so excited every day to post the videos and send the messages, and he loves it when I respond. Actually, he reminds me when I don't respond quick enough. He's proud, and it gives him something to talk about. And I love it because I get to see what they're learning, and I get to ask them about it at dinner. And anything that gives us that opportunity to engage and talk about it is it's a wonderful addition to the curriculum, and it's a wonderful addition to our household. So thank you for enabling that.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, these are cool. It's cool, huh? That's the Seesaw app, huh? Nice.
Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed your little trip around the world. I hope the kids were able to teach you a little bit about what they're doing in second grade.
Thank you very much.
That's cool. Thank you. Good job.
Thank you. You did a good job.
Oh, great job,
Very
guys.
much.
Very proud
Great
of
job.
Wonderful young lady.
Put that in there.
Legos are the best.
Okay, you gotta put in that.
Just pick the one.
Oh, do you put the laptop in here too, or are you carrying it? Okay.
Probably in that one.
What do we do now?
Yeah.
I know you want to get up.
Got it.
I think I did.
You want to swap? Sir?
Great job, guys.
Computer, you got the bag?
All right. Good job. I knew you wanted to get up. Yeah, you're awesome, man. You are awesome.
Well, as we wrap up, on behalf of Center Elementary and all of our staff and all of our parents, we just want to thank you again. And we'd like to extend an invitation to please come down to Center anytime and come see all of this in working action anytime. And we really do appreciate everything that you do for us. And we really appreciate the time to just kind of peek into our world just a little bit. So we have our second graders. Our tech support is bringing you just a little token of our appreciation for everything that you do for us. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, honey. I appreciate that.
Wonderful presentation and great job to all the second graders who came and interacted with all of us and helped us all with everything. It was wonderful. So Super round of applause for all the students.
I did have one question. I was going to ask Mrs. Rotino, but I know she's been out of college a long time. So this may be for the John Carroll student teacher. Are the colleges preparing you for what's going on at Mayfield?
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Thanks, Krishna.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I have a question. Kate, could I keep this?
Mr. Teresi has already said that I think that he would like all 7 of us to have that particular seating arrangement. I was trying to encourage him to go to the pillow here, but he wasn't buying it. I don't know.
No.
All right. Well, thank you guys all so much for being here and having a wonderful presentation. And I would just like to give Center one more round of applause.
Thank you, Madam President.
We'll take just a couple of minute recess because I know that a lot of our students need to get home to get some rest, and then we'll move on to President's announcements directly after.
I gotta get up.
Moving on to President's announcements. I actually have no announcements this evening other than the fact that, again, fantastic presentation by Center. All right, that moves us to community communications. We did have one individual contact us ahead of time, but let me ask if there is anybody else that was interested in speaking this evening before the board. I will remind you that this is an opportunity for people to speak before us on issues. It is an informative session for an individual to speak to us. And this evening we have Rudolph, how do you pronounce your last name? Breglia. PhD. He is School Bus Safety Alliance, and he is going to present to us on the topic of seatbelts save lives. And just a reminder that you have 3 minutes, and you do need to state your name and address. And we do need you at the microphone because this is all recorded and goes out onto our television channel.
Okay, fine. Okay, my name is Rudy Breglia. I live in Avon Lake,
Turned
Ohio.
on?
Is it on?
Is it turned on?
Let me pause this.
Taken away from my time.
Nope, I paused
No,
the
we're
time.
gonna-
You're
we're gonna-
good. It is
we're gonna
on.
give you-
It is on.
Okay, great.
So go ahead.
All right,
We'll-
you can start the clock.
I've actually got his information in the emails that you had sent.
Okay.
So if you don't mind, I'm going to reset the timer to 3 minutes. So let me cancel this.
Okay.
And you can
And
start
I will hit start
out.
and
Oh,
then please.
Okay. My name is Rudy Breglia. I'm a citizen advocate for seatbelts in school buses. I have no commercial interest in the issue. I know we're all on the same page that we want the safest form of transportation for our children. And I think we all realize that it's better to have a seatbelt on if you're in a crash. And when I talk about seatbelts, I'm talking about the lap shoulder belts, the three-point belts that you have in every passenger car. I know it's a complex issue. There's a lot of moving parts, but what I'd like to reassure you is that I'm willing to help you get through this issue and handle any difficulties that you may bump into. Along those lines, the last page of your handout is a list of contacts. These are people in the school districts, in states that have passed legislation mandating seatbelts in school buses. And I know all these people, and they're all willing to help you. All you do is have to contact them. What I have in your first page of your handout is the conclusions that I've reached in the 2 years that I've been working on the issue. The first ultimate conclusion is right up at the top. Seatbelts save lives and reduce injuries. Since 1968, seatbelts have been mandated in passenger cars and have accounted for literally saving hundreds of thousands of lives. Ohio school bus drivers have had seatbelts mandated since 1986. Now, the most important thing I'm going to say tonight is that number one statement, which is current Ohio school bus safety features are inadequate to protect children fully. And I can say this because on average, 5 to 6 children are killed every year, actually 9 in 2016, and more than 11,000 children are injured every year in school bus crashes.
1 minute remaining, Dr. Breglia.
Okay.
Just want to inform you.
In the 1970s, federal agencies chose to accept padded seat backs rather than seat belts. And this is based on a flawed and incomplete theory called compartmentalization. This is a violent theory. It's meant to minimize injuries but not to prevent them. The basis for the theory is that the padded seat back will absorb the impact energy of airborne children's bodies that are set in motion by sudden stops or crashes. Let me get to the bottom line. Installing seat belts in school buses is a substantial, recognized, and critical improvement to school bus safety and really should be a priority for us. Seat belts are like fire extinguishers. When you need them, you need them desperately, and they represent a needed precaution to avoid catastrophic loss. Please, if you have any questions, want to contact me, you have my email address, you have my phone number, please take that word of advice and give me a call if you have any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to take
Thank
off.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
If anybody wants the handout, I'm going to give it to you.
Okay, at this time, this moves us to board member committee reports. Are there any?
None tonight.
All right. And superintendent's announcements.
I have none.
So that moves us to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Please bear with me 1 second. Motion by
Sorry,
Mr.
it's moving too
Teresi.
fast.
Yes.
Second by Mr. Hughes, is that correct?
Yes.
And I'm sitting on the core ball and I'm fading fast, so.
Why don't you get that green chair over there?
Then it'll fall asleep.
Make a swap.
I'm going to fight it out, George. I'm going to,
I was told that we are allowed to swap out our seating at any time.
no, I'm good. Thank you, though.
Roll call.
Ms. Grosek.
Yes.
Mr. Hess is first this evening, is that correct?
Oops.
I believe it is you, correct, Mr.
You
Hess?
are.
I have to look at my cheat sheet. Nope, it is Ms. Grosek.
Yes.
I'm sorry. So Ms. Grosek?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Teresi?
Yes.
Mr. Finaro?
Yes.
That moves us to superintendent's business, and we have the certified additional training.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Grosek?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Teresi?
Yes.
Mr. Finaro?
Yes.
And next, we have the Mayfield High School class trip to Italy.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Grosek?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Teresi?
Yes.
Mr. Finaro?
Yes.
Even though we've dropped German, I'll approve this Italian trip.
Thank you,
Al. Next, we move to the 2020 Quebec trip.
So moved.
Sorry.
Second was by Mr. Finaro. Thank you.
Roll call.
Ms. Grosek?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Teresi?
Yes.
Mr. Finaro?
Yes.
And the 2019-2020 preschool typical peer tuition.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Grosek?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Teresi?
Yes.
Mr. Finaro?
Yes.
That moves us to the treasurer's report and the financial statements for December 31st, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Grosek?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Tressi?
Yes.
Mr. Finaro?
Yes.
And donations, my favorite.
So moved.
Second.
Bear with me one moment. So I have a motion from Mr. Finaro
Mhm.
and a second. My clicker is not clicking as fast as I'd like it. And a second by Mr. Hess.
Yes.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Ms. Grosek?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Tressi?
Yes.
And Mr. Finaro?
Yes.
And more donations.
So moved.
Second.
Before roll is called, I would like to simply state that this is a donation to CVEC from Mr. Filio, the owner of the McDonald's in Mayfield Heights. It is in the form of $20,000. I think it's a tremendous donation, and would like to certainly wish Mr. Ross all the best in spending it.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, when you spend it all, you can only spend it one time. When it's gone, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And that he will be present at the Green Tie Gala, and that's where we will formally be making a formal, I guess, recognition of the donation. So I'd just like to bring it to everybody's attention.
I will say I stopped by his establishment this evening and saw two of our students who were working and wearing the Mayfield, the CLE Mayfield shirt. So he does a wonderful job all the way around of being very supportive of all of us.
He purchased those for all his employees.
That is rockin' awesome. That is really cool. Roll call.
Ms. Grosek?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Tressi?
Yes.
Mr. Finaro?
Yes.
Next, in other treasurer's business, we have the minutes of the regular board meeting of December 12th, 2018, and the organizational meeting of January 9th.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Grosek?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Tressi?
Yes.
And Mr. Finaro?
Yes.
And the mileage rate increase.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hughes and a second by Mr. Tressi.
Yes.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Ms. Grosek?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Tressi?
Yes.
And Mr. Finaro?
Yes.
That moves us to the College Credit Plus Primary Partnership Agreement with Lakeland Community College for 2019, and it should be 2020, I believe. There's a misprint. Sorry.
Yes. We're not going back to 2010. So we will make the correction.
Not retroactive.
The resolution is correct. The actual board agenda topic is incorrect. So you'll be taking action on the correct year.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Grosek?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Tressi?
Yes.
And Mr. Finaro?
Yes.
And next we have College Credit Plus Memorandum of Understanding with Kent State University.
So moved.
Second.
Excuse me one second. Mr. Hess motioned and seconded by Mr. Tressi. Thank you.
Roll call.
Ms. Grosek?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Tressi?
Yes.
And Mr. Finaro?
Yes.
This moves us to the Construction Manager at Risk.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Grosek?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Tressi?
Yes.
And Mr. Finaro?
Yes.
And in other board business, new member of CVEC, Kenston Local School District.
So moved.
Second.
Welcome aboard, Kenston. Roll call.
I'm sorry, we have a motion by,
Me.
by Mr. Tressi. Thank you. And a second by Mr. Finaro.
Finaro.
Thank you.
An excitement by me.
Second by Ms. Grosek.
Roll call.
Ms. Grosek?
Yes.
Mr. Hess?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Tressi?
Yes.
Mr. Finaro?
Yes.
In other business, we have two memoriams First for Joseph S. Boker, who is a retired Mayfield High School guidance counselor, passed away on December 24th, 2018. Mr. Boker retired in 1995 after serving Mayfield City Schools for approximately 29 years. Our condolences are extended to his family, as well as Michelle DeVita, who passed away on January 7th. After a courageous battle with cancer, Michelle was a cook at the middle school, serving Mayfield City Schools for more than 14 years. Our condolences go to her family as well. And unfortunately, Teresa Verone, a bus driver, also passed away on December 25th. Teresa, or Terry, served Mayfield City Schools for more than 24 years. Our condolences go to all three families, and they will be sorely missed. Which moves us to a motion.
I have one final thing.
Yes,
I forgot,
sorry.
I think we didn't mention about congratulations to the treasurer and your department, your employees about that award from
Yes.
the state auditor.
Thank you.
That's a very well-deserved award, and I know it's a lot of work that gets put into that. So congratulations on that.
On behalf of the department and everybody else out there. Thank you.
With that, we need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second, third.
Oh,
Roll call.
got it.
Roadshow.
That's different, he messed it up.
Ms. Grosek.
Yes.
Mr. Hess.
Yeah.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Teresi.
Yes.
And Mr. Finaro.
Yes.
That's a wrap.